Okay, so let us continue. I was saying that we are going to be looking at how, we can implement the form formula. So last week, we talked about prospecting. I gave you tips about prospecting. Then we also looked at the elevator speech. So this morning, I want us to see how do we implement the form formula, because we are saying that when you don't know what to say, just talk about family, talk about occupation, talk about occupation, like talk about these four things. So I'm like, how do we implement it? The purpose of this is to have a smooth transition to introduce your business, your opportunity. So the reason why we are engaging a prospect in this formula, where you are talking about the family, you are talking about occupation, you are talking about recreation, then you bring the message or you talk about the money, that is the point where you are introducing the business. So let us see what should we say. This is not what we should completely say, but part of what we should say when we are talking about the family. In general, people enjoy talking about things that are close to them, that they love. After an introduction, or an initial greeting, you might ask the following questions pertaining to the family. The first letter using the form method or the form formula. For example, you can ask, how many children do you have? Where are you from? Are you married? Sometimes when I ask, are you married? Someone says, why are you asking? I can say, well, I would love to know my boundaries, because if you are married, I should know the time I should maybe text you. So, are you familiar with your neighborhood? These are the questions you can ask on the family part. Are you a homeowner or you are a renter? Someone says, I stay in this area. Hey, so are you renting that side, or that is your home? That is, you are a homeowner. So the reason for this is to keep the conversation going. So many people enjoy talking or bragging about themselves. Most people enjoy being helpful. You can ask them for information about their neighborhood, asked for suggestions on which neighborhood is best for the kids, family, or safety, and from there we can go to occupation, because it is FO form. So the second one is occupation. We've seen that on family, these are some of the questions that we can ask, but we don't need again to ask all of them. No, you can pick one or two and you ask. So on occupation, if they have opened up to you about their family or neighborhood, they most likely have their wall down. So you can ask him or her these occupation questions. What do you do for a living? What don't you like? Maybe about what you are doing. How long have you worked there? Is it stable? What do you like about it? How do you like your job? How many hours per week does that require? Is that your final stop or a stepping stone? So again, these are some of the questions to ask on the occupation part. Because as I've already said, we are saying use the form formula. So I've given you the questions you can ask on the family part. Also, these are the questions you can ask on the occupation part. And another thing is, you don't have to ask all the questions. You can ask one or two. Since we know we have form, so those are 4 areas where you are supposed to ask. Then from there, from this information, you may find out that you both have the same things in common. You may have thought about pursuing their profession in the past. You can also ask them what made them choose that line of work. Someone says, I'm a doctor. You say, wow, what attracted you to becoming a doctor? Like, what inspired you? Then they can open up, tell you what inspired them. Or someone can say, I'm in business. I can say, hey, most people like having jobs. What attracted you into business? And people normally open up. This ultimately open the door for you to tell them what you do. At this point, you can tell them about your opportunity if done properly. So even at this point, you can tell them about the opportunity. But you can go ahead and also do on recreation. People also love talking about what they like to do, what they want to do, or what they are going to do. And these are some of the questions on recreation. What do you do in your spare time? What do they do in their spare time? Where do you like to go in your spare time? What activities are your kids in? Do you travel? Do you have suggestions where I can take my children for fun? Someone says, oh, I live in Blantyre. Hey, by the way, I'm planning to come to Blantyre. So if I have children, what do you have suggestions where I can take my children for fun? You see, you are trying to connect. Here you are not introducing the business. You haven't reached at the point of introducing the business. What is there to do in the area? Do you play any sports, or do you like any sports? Yes, I like football. Hey, local football or international football? Oh, both. So which team do you support? You get to know them. Maybe someone says, me, I support Manchester. When they have won, you go them. You go get into their inbox and congratulate them. So how often do you get a chance to do these things? Oh, you can also ask them, what are your hobbies? And how much time do you have to do these things? Again, you are not supposed to ask all these questions, but you can choose one or two that you can always ask. And then they will open up at what they are doing. So if you meet someone, maybe you are seated together for 20 minutes, 10 minutes. These are some of the questions that you are supposed to be asking. And from there, when they open up, you would go to the last part where you are going to introduce the business. So the last part, remember, we said it is M stands for money or message. So this is, I think this determines what kind of life or living a person, what kind of life a person has. This also may determine the level of freedom they have. You may ask questions such as, do you have money saved for college? Or you can say, are you happy with your salary? Because someone has told you, I'm working somewhere I'm working as a filling station attendant. Hey, you say, hey, that work is not easy. How do you manage to do it? Because you have to stand there for all those hours. You cannot. So someone can be able to open up. Then you say, are you happy with the salary they are giving you? How hard is it for you to invest to save enough for retirement? Or you can also ask them, do you think you are paid fairly? Because here you are trying to look for the pain. So someone says, I'm not paid fairly. And from there, that will enable you to pivot the business. Or alternatively, you can use the message. M in the form formula can mean money or it means message. Some people would tell you that the last M in the form method stands for message. So if you focus on their message, this is where you find out what drives them. Ultimately, ask them if they didn't have to work every day, or if time and money were not an issue, what would they be doing right now? And what would they do with their time? Many would say they will spend more time with their family, more vacationing, build a vacation home, etc. By now, you'd have gathered enough information to know how you can help this person with your opportunity. So, as you are asking these questions, you are looking for the problem, and then within the problem, you are going to bring the solution. By this time, you'd have been able to process how your opportunity can help them in their personal situation. So at this point, you can schedule a meeting. If time permits, show them your opportunity right there and then. Bonus, here are some powerful words to help you lean in or wanting more. Or this is how you can pivot, how you can introduce your business. You can start with this phrase, I'm just curious. If I would you, can I ask a simple question? Do you mind if I share a little story with you? Maybe someone says, you know what, I'm struggling with hypertension. I'm, even right now I'm coming from the hospital. Maybe you find your friend at like the way one of our leaders, Madame Leslie, phoned a colleague at the hospital waiting, to see the doctor. And Leslie asked a friend, hey, why are you here? So the other one said, oh, I'm struggling with hypertension. Said, don't worry, I'm going to go and see the doctor, but after I have I have something to discuss with you in regard to hypertension. And guess what? That lady ended up joining us. So, for example, there, I'm assuming if she had time, let me use maybe like professor. You've met someone who says, "Hey, I'm hypertensive." Hey, if professor can ask, "Do you mind if I share with you a little story?" Then professor can share, can say, 5 years back, I was struggling with hypertension, and a friend of mine invited me for a meeting where they were talking about healthcare products that can work on hypertension. I went there, I listened what the products do, and guess what? I partnered with that organization. I got the products. Within 2 weeks like this, my hypertension started normalizing. Today, even I'm not taking the hypertension drugs, courtesy of those healthcare products. So would you love to know more about these products? If the person says yes, then you schedule when where you can meet. So now you've talked about the family, the occupation, the recreation, and the message or the money. So how do you introduce the business? So these are this is how you pivot. This is how I'm curious. Depending on what they have told you, because maybe you've asked them, so are you happy with your salary? Maybe someone says, no, I don't have an alternative, because if I stop working here, much as the salary is little, there is nothing I can do. I'm curious. Have you ever thought of working for yourself? I'm curious. Have you heard of Africa Freedom Mentors Project? I'm curious. Have you ever thought of, of starting a business, that can pay you some additional income on top of your salary that you are getting from that job? So You're asking your prospect a permission to continue when you say, can I ask a question? Oh, I'm curious. You rarely ever get a no to questions like this, and they keep your prospects engaged in the conversation. Here are some examples with these phrases. Do you mind if I ask a simple question? What are you currently doing to prepare for retirement? Someone says, hey, I've been working with as a head teacher. I'm working as a head teacher in this school. Then you can say, hey, how long have you been working there? Now I think 29 years. So you know that this person is close to retiring. So you are going to ask these questions according to the previous conversations. So you say, do you mind if I ask a simple question? What are you currently doing to prepare for retirement? So if someone is close to retiring, I'm curious, have you ever considered creating a residue income? Have you ever considered, creating a residue income? Have you ever considered earning an additional income on top of your salary? Can you share with me how much money you'd consider to be serious money on a monthly basis? Someone tells you, hey, here I'm paid very little salary. The salary is not enough. Then you can ask, can you share with me how much money you'd consider to be serious money on a monthly basis? And would that amount be worth committing one hour a day or for 2 years if you knew what to do? If they say 1 hour a day, I think I can commit. Then on top of this, you can, do you mind if I ask a simple question? I'm curious. So these are prospecting questions that you can attach on these phrases. Do you mind if I share with you a little story? Can I get your opinion on something? I'm curious if I shared with you, a project on how you can make additional income on top of your salary, would you create time and have a look? If I would would you be open to a side project that does not interfere with what you are currently doing? All these are prospecting questions. I'm curious. Would you be open to a side project that doesn't interfere with what you are doing currently? I'm curious. Would you be open to exploring another avenue for making an income part-time? Can I ask you a question? Yes, you can ask. Would you be open to exploring another avenue for making an income part-time? So I'm curious. Can I ask a question? These apply to most of these. I'm curious. What has recently changed in your life that has you open up to a home business? I'm curious. Oh, can I ask a question? He says, yes, you can ask. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to make money on Facebook? Have you ever wondered if there was a way to make money online? Have you ever wondered if there was a way to make money on social media? I'm curious, have you ever got that feeling that you are meant to do something great? Can I ask a question? Yes. If you had the money, would you jump on this opportunity? I know you don't know. But if you did know, what would really like to have in life? Can I ask you a question? Yes. I know you don't know, but if you did know, what would you really like to have in life? Then if they give you a list, you tell them, by the way, this project can assist you to achieve all that. How long will you have to continue working that many hours? So you are interacting with someone, someone tells you, I really, I cannot stay. Then you say, but do you know, I'm working on a project that you can do part-time without interfering what you are already doing. And it helps you to make additional income on top of your salary. Can I ask you a question? Have you ever wished that you could travel more? Have you ever wished that you could travel more? Have you ever thought how you would like to spend more time with your family? Have you ever thought how you'd like to spend more time with your family? If someone was willing, or if someone were willing, I think if someone was willing to show you how to make money from home, would you be coachable? Did you know? Did you know that there are ways to create income that flow into your bank account, whether you roll out of bed or not? When you said, number 14, when you said you wanted to spend more time with your family, were you serious about it, about that? Or do you keep your options open when it comes to making an additional income? Do you keep your options open when it comes to making an additional income or extra income? Do you know anyone that has been affected by the economy? Do you know anyone that has been affected by the economy? Do you know anyone that has been affected by the economy that might be open to making some extra money? I'm looking for a good financial planner to work with in the home business that I'm doing part-time. Do you know any? Do you like helping other people? And would you be interested in getting paid to do so? Do you see yourself doing what you are doing 20 years from now? Have you found what you are looking for that will provide the ultimate freedom for you and your family? If money was not an issue, what would you do for fun? If money was not an issue, how would you help people? What would you like about what you are currently doing? What would you like to change about your current uh, situation? What challenges have you faced in the past? And what are your goals for this year and why? What made you join a home what made you join a home-based business in the past? Maybe someone has told you, I was part of that 2018, I was part of that same business. So you can ask them, what had made you join that time? What did you hope to get out of your last home-based business that you didn't get? Maybe someone here is telling, no, I was part of that business, in 2019. So you can ask them, what did you hope to get out of your last home-based business? So this time you can attach the name of the company that he would have told you in the part where there is home business that you didn't get. So bonus, recruiting or sponsoring solve most of the or rather solve most of the problems. Recruiting new people will solve almost every problem you experience in your business. So this morning, as I'm teaching you about prospecting, the main goal is for us to recruit, because as you recruit people, you are recruiting them to a system, a training system, so they will be sponsored automatically. Recruiting new people will solve almost every problem you experience in your business. So I want us to be intentional about recruiting. Any person you get, your intention is to recruit them. When you are presenting, your intention is to recruit them. If you can learn how to recruit one person per week, you can build a huge business. You can build a huge business even if most people do nothing and quit. You can recruit one person per week by approaching 5 people per day. Now, 5 people, when we say approaching 5 people, I want us to break it down by presenting to 5 people. In fact, this year, I also want us to direct our efforts to presenting. Yes, we can invite, but I want us to be intentional about presenting, because these 5 people we are talking about is not prospecting, is not inviting, but it is presenting. So if you can present 5 people every day, then in a week, you can get one person who will join you. As simple as that. So if you can present 5 people every day, in a week, you are going to reach the plateau of latent potential where people will start joining you. So the question is, when you look back, how many people have you, for example, presented in the last week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you presented 5 people, then out of 5, if you know you've had those people attend the physical presentation, you've had those people, even if they attend our Zoom presentation, but out of the 5, you should be having someone either who is looking for money or who has paid part payment. So this time I want us to be intentional. We are here to build a network. We are not here to sell products, no. We are here to build a network. So for us to be able to build a network is for us to be able to recruit. So we are starting a week today. You've seen that if you do 5 presentations today, by Friday, you'll have, by the way, Saturday and Sunday not inclusive. Just within 5 days, if you are doing 5 presentation, by Friday, you're going to have one person. Those are the 25 presentations I normally tell you. So let us go outside there and tell everyone that we have a better and the best way. So let us go and implement all these skills as we start in the new week. Prospect as many people as you can, invite as many people as you can, but make sure that on a daily basis, you make a minimum of 5 presentations.